Well, this is not a food video. This is a response to Jane's request for something on the page to celebrate obesity. No, it's World Obesity Day. And hashtag what I'm doing to beat obesity, at least my obesity. I never thought of myself as being obese, even though I was huge. I always thought obese was like when you were so large, kids would pay you money to sit in your shade at the beach, or you'd have to buddy your hips to get into the car. It's my 600-pound life stuff you see on television, where that guy goes, potato is not considered a protein. But it's sad. I enjoyed watching it, but I never thought of myself as being obese. And then I was looking at the BMI, and BMI said that I was bordering on morbidly obese, and I couldn't believe that. But it said to get to a healthy BMI, it had to be a certain weight, and I was like, man, if I ever dropped down to that weight, people would start sending me care packages, that people would look and say, I've seen more meat on the end of a fish hook. But the fact is that I was obese, and obese is something that is over what you should be, which is affecting your body, your health, everything going on in your life. And it's the little things that you kind of get used to, but they creep up on you, like the aches and the pains and the knees giving out, and the ankles getting swollen, and being tired and feeling like this impending doom is coming on you. Increased trips to the hospital for health-related issues, and just a general sadness, and you find yourself eating and eating and eating, and the sadder you get, the more you eat, and it just is a big nasty spiral. But anyway, what I did was I looked over some old photos and I kind of put them together, and I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse into my journey on how I was obese and now how I've beaten it, or I'm going to continue to beat it every day. So let's get to that. A person has traditionally been considered to be obese if they're more than 20% over their ideal weight. That ideal weight must take into account the person's height, age, sex, and build. I simply put it as it's an abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. Some of the lovely things that come along with being obese are all causes of death, mortality, high blood pressure, hypertension, high LDL cholesterol, low HDL cholesterol, or high triglycerides, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, stroke, gallbladder disease, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, different types of cancer, low quality of life, mental illness like depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders, body pain, difficulty physically functioning, and fatty liver disease, and just so much more. Well, some non-health related stuff is, do these clothes fit me? Can I find any? Will this chair hold me up? I'm wondering. What about the booth at the restaurant? Am I even going to be able to fit behind that thing? And airplane? Forget it. Without a belt extender, I wasn't flying. Well, it turns out I was my own worst enemy. Smoking, drinking, and making really bad food choices. Eating was my thing, and eating massive amounts of food was the norm. It didn't matter where I was, or what the food was, or if it was in front of me. It was going inside me. I left no fry behind. I was on a path of self-destruction, and I didn't care. As a matter of fact, I didn't care much about anything. Food was my friend, and it made me happy. Well, at the time it made me happy. I never really stopped to think about how all this food was actually hurting me, and killing me, actually. The bigger I got, the more I ate. The more I ate, the more depressed I'd get. There was really no way to avoid it either. I was physically repulsed at the sight of my naked body, so I avoided my reflection in windows, and I avoided mirrors. I would avoid whenever possible getting my picture taken, and my friends and family would often take me aside and tell me how worried they were about me, saying, "You look unhealthy, Dave," or they were concerned about the drinking and smoking. I'd like to tell you I didn't care, but I did. I just felt it was a hopeless cause. My love of cooking kept me around food, and I would try to eat healthier things, but the massive portions were still in play. I would eat fast, and it seemed like my tank was bottomless, and by the time my brain recognized I was full, it was too late. I was in a food coma. I'd curl up somewhere to go to sleep. My energy was easily depleted, and the only exercise I got was lifting food to my mouth and walking to the refrigerator. My ankles were swollen, my knees were giving out, and at the beach I'd not be able to even reach around my body to apply sunscreen. And I was always had that worry in the back of my head that some good Samaritan would start throwing buckets of water on me and trying to roll me back into the ocean. I was big as I've ever been, and I had to do something. Medically, I was a mess. My bones could not support my weight any longer, and they were pissed. I was in and out of hospitals constantly with weight-related issues. I was pre-diabetic. My gut health was near terminal. My liver was fatty and scarred. My blood work showed that everything that could go wrong inside me was happening. I couldn't climb stairs. I could barely breathe. I wanted to see my daughter grow up, and I wanted to play with my granddaughter. But I knew deep down that I was not well, and I was getting closer and closer to meeting the Grim Reaper. You know how people ask, where are you going to be in 10 years? I knew where I was going to be, if nothing changed. Finally, a doctor told me about Hartford Healthcare and mentioned that I should meet up with this guy, Dr. Darren Tischler. I told Dr. Tischler I knew what foods were healthy compared to those that were not, and he explained to me the gastric sleeve procedure, telling me that with this tool my body will recognize the food I have eaten much quicker and prevent me from overloading. When I started the whole process, I was about 350 pounds with a 53-inch waist. During the pre-op diet and after surgery, the weight was dropping off of me. I was in less pain, my mind was clear, and I was able to get moving. I could look at cakes and pass them up. My carriage at the store went from being packed with ding-dongs, ho-hos, and chips to veggies and lean meats. In the past 5 months, I have managed to lose over 100 pounds and have gone from a 53 waist to a 42 waist. My blood work is 98% perfect, no longer pre-diabetic. My BMI has dropped from morbidly obese to overweight, and I still have a lifetime to go to obtain the weight and dimension that I actually want to reach. My liver is still fatty, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. A different surgeon told me that if I had continued to go on without losing this weight, my liver probably would not have lasted as long. But it took years to get damaged, and it's going to take years to repair itself. But I'm on the right path, and I'm doing the right thing. This surgery has saved my life, and has given me tools I need to overcome the grip that food had on me. And now I can finally say goodbye to obesity.